Alrighty, so our next task today is just a few more problems about looking at scatter plots. Your objective is to contrast, so the key word here is contrast. We're going to see how they're different. Bivariate sets of data. Now I want to point this out because I didn't point this out in the last video. The word bivariate is very scary, kind of like that word that we talked about a couple of weeks ago. What was it? Varies directly. Okay, so that's kind of a scary term too. But the word bivariate, the word or the prefix bi just means two, and variate is a variable. So bivariate data just has two variables. That's it, x and y. So basically, anything that we're looking at on a graph is going to be bivariate data because it has an x and it has a y-axis. So it's comparing two different variables. But anyway, I just wanted to point that out really quick. So we're contrasting these sets of data to see which ones have a linear relationship and which ones do not have a linear relationship. That's it. Okay, again, we're not dealing with proportions because these are not exact lines that start at the origin and go to the right and up at the exact same rate every single time, but they are generally linear, or they're generally not linear. So that's what we're going to figure out. So let's look at number one together. Which graph represents a linear relationship? And so I'm going to look here and I'm going to see which one I can actually sketch a line through. And the only one I can sketch a line through is this one. And I would go even further to say that this is a positive trend. So on that last assignment, we were also deciding which ones were positive and negative, even within the linear relationship. So this one has a positive trend. So now I need you to complete number two by yourself. It says which graph does not show a linear relationship, and make sure that you prove your answer. And then I'd also like for you to do number three on the back right. So we're talking about the right side of your paper. There's two number threes. It's not the one where you're plotting a point. It's the one that says which graph best represents a linear relationship. So again, on the back right side. When you finish with both of those, please bring me your paper so that I can give you two stamps for those two questions, and make sure that you're proving your answer. So go ahead and pause the video now. All right, now let's look at number three, the first number three on the back. It says which ordered pair could be added to the data points graph to keep a linear relationship. So we want to keep that linear relationship. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to graph each one of these maybe in a different color. You go ahead and do this with your pencil, and we're going to label them A, B, C, D so that we can see which one actually fits in the line. So A, positive 8, negative 8, which means I'm going to start at the origin, and I'm going to the right to positive 8, and then since it's negative 8, you need to go down to negative 8, and this is A. So that looks like it might fit on the line. We're going to see if it's the best. That's one reason we don't want to just pick an answer and move on. All right, B is 8, so I'm going to go to the right, and then 2, up 2. All right, this is B. C is 2, 8, so starting at the origin, go to the right 2, and then up to 8. So that's C. And then D, I'll find a different color here. D is negative 8, positive 6. So I'm going to go negative 8 and positive 6. And that's point D. So I'm looking here and I know that I can automatically get rid of B and C because those do not fit what I'm looking for. They are nowhere near that trend line. But I'm a little bit stuck between A and D. So I'm going to go ahead and go with D, and here's why. D continues, okay, I see that as the X value goes to the left, the Y value goes up. So here, going from this point, I go to the left and I go up. So like here I go left and up, left and up, left and up, left and up just a little bit, left and up, left and up. The problem with A is that if I start at A, I'm going left, but I'm not going up. So if A had been like right down here, that would have been part of the line. Now, if we didn't have D as an answer choice, I would think A is a pretty good answer choice. So that's why we want to actually test all of the answer choices to see which one is best, because if this one weren't here, I would have picked A. But D is probably the best answer on this one. Now, I want you to be really careful on number 4 because it says which ordered pair could be deleted from the graph data for it to form a linear relationship. So I need you to make sure that you're checking that whenever you're doing number 4. So now, if you'll go ahead and do number 4 on your own, as soon as you're finished with number 4, go ahead and bring it to me for a stamp. Make sure that you're proving your work, proving your answer, and then you will be all finished.